welcome to the Silver Dollar City podcast here in the beautiful Culinary and Craft Studios. Matty, how you been?
I'm great. I can't believe it's round 3 for the podcast.
I can't either. I know. And our table is growing something now, I see.
That's right. Harvest Fest right around the corner.
And I, sometimes take that for granted. People can see us, as we do these podcast episodes at ozarkly.com or on YouTube. But I know some people listen on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. So, I just want to point that out sometimes when we are pointing out pumpkins on the table.
That's right. People listening, they're like, where are the pumpkins?
That's right. And, if you ever hear anything that you want to, or see anything that you want to ask us about, ozarkly at silverdollarcity.com is the best way to do that. We love, hearing from Silver Dollar City fans.
That's right.
In response to what we're talking about and gabbing about. And I know we even feature those. We look forward to featuring some of our fans at the end of the podcast today.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
So that's ozarkly at silverdollarcity.com, right?
That's right, yeah. Hopefully we'll feature some in Matty's mailbag later on. And, we were talking about this just a few minutes ago about how summer has flown by. Like, here we are. We've got pumpkins on the table already. But have you had time to do anything fun? Kind of squeeze the last drops out of summer, Matt?
Yes, we're trying to soak up every last bit of it. I mean, even though I am ready for some cooler weather, I'd have to say.
Yeah,
but we have
nice.
Gone to the lake, a few times with family.
Okay.
And had some barbecues outside, and that can roll right into fall. And a big thing my husband and I are working on is we're trying to fix our deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fix an existing deck or build a new deck or
So existing. So my
Okay,
husband's
all right.
a carpenter.
Oh,
so
well, that helps.
Yeah, he's
for sure.
trying to run the
DIY.
boards through a planer so that we don't have to buy any new boards. So
Wow.
But with coming with being a carpenter, it's kind of hard to work all day on stuff and then come home and work on stuff at our house. So
for
slow
sure.
and
That's
steady.
probably the last thing he wants to do some days after a big project is come home and work at home.
Yep. I don't blame him. So slow and steady, we'll get it done.
Okay. But gosh, that is a big. Do you ever think about that with other occupations too? Like I think about that with teachers, right? It's back to school time. That's been a big thing going on in my house, as we're doing back to school because I got 3 kiddos that need all the things and the backpacks and the shoes and the clothes and then my wife is a teacher, so she has to outfit a classroom, and kind of get ready to go again here for fall. But I always think about that for teachers who are also moms and parents, moms and dads, parents. Man, after a full day of trying to keep the chaos together.
That's right. And then come home.
That's cool. They have to come back and do that at home too, right?
That's right. We love teachers. We applaud all of them. They're amazing.
Yeah, I know. And that, man, I feel like back to school is a big life shift for so many people.
It is.
And, I know we wound up at Tanger one weekend and I could see just how many people were trying to get ready to back to school that day. It was nuts. I think that may have been tax-free weekend. I accidentally chose to go to Tanger Outlet Malls.
Yes, I've noticed the traffic. I mean, down in Branson, all the way up to Springfield. So kids are getting ready and I can't believe it's just right around the corner.
I know. I always look forward to summer and it always goes fast. And I know, we've tried to squeezed in one more camping trip last weekend and kind of had fun, tried to get some more s'mores in before everybody goes back to school, hit the pool. The kids went to Whitewater. They've come down here and hung out with me at Silver Dollar City one day. So
Oh, that's great.
I feel like we've done pretty good at knocking out the summer bucket list.
Yeah, lots of family time.
Yeah, lots of family time, all the summer staples, But fall is coming up for sure.
It is. It'll be here before you know it. So what are some Silver Dollar City news that's happening?
Yeah, Silver Dollar City headlines. I know we started off the last podcast with some Silver Dollar City news, and I thought that went pretty well. I think, when I think about things that are coming up here on the curtails of summer, it's like we've got a lot of country music celebrities that are about ready to come visit us here at Silver Dollar City.
Yes, I'm really excited. Country Music Weekend, so 3 days of concerts happening.
Yeah. I mean, if people don't know, I think what's the 6th, 7th, and 8th, right? Of September. And we've got Ricochet is coming. Is it Lone Star?
Lone Star, and then rounding out the weekend with Sarah Evans.
Yeah. Boy, does it feel like a lot of people are kind of buzzing about Sarah Evans?
Yes. I think that she's got a big following, and we're really excited to have her at the city. I know I'm going to try to see all 3 concerts. Hopefully it'll be great weather. So we're looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
And pound for pound, like Lone Star is just got a ton of hits. I mean, in comparison, but like it does seem like there's just some excitement about Sarah Evans. She's from Missouri. Maybe that has something to do with it. She's a Missouri girl coming to perform at Echo Hollow. So I don't know.
That's some exciting stuff. And some more music, coming our way with Southern Gospel Picnic.
That's right. That's even sooner.
Yeah, August 22nd through September 2nd.
Okay, man, here we are. August, September.
Yeah, lots of music.
Yeah, lots of music. What other Silver City headlines have you noticed around?
Well, I've noticed there's a brand new building out front of the park. If folks are visiting, you might notice it's kind of looks like a barn, I would think, but a very nice, fancy barn. And it's a new rental building where you can pick up ECVs, you can pick up strollers, wheelchairs, and it was just really nice and convenient for our guests and our employees. So I was excited to go check that out.
It was open the other day, right? I mean, it's open to the public.
Yeah, it's
done.
ready.
Wow. And so one of the main things is I feel like we could host this would be a good trivia question for some people. What does ECV stand for?
Yeah, I learned that the other day.
We
I'm kind of embarrassed
guessed at it. I thought it was like electronic conveyance.
Yeah.
It was like I was totally wrong, but it's electric convenience. Right?
Yeah,
vehicle.
Yeah.
Electric convenience vehicle.
Learn something new every day.
Oh no, man! Bless that rentals booth. They had it written right out there for us when we took our little tour the other day.
Yes.
And man, the employees there just seemed like upbeat about the whole new construction too. Like they just have so much more room and power outlets and all the things they need to take care of our guests. And I think that's going to be a big deal going into the fall here.
Yeah.
That people can access that out front there at the park.
Absolutely. Really exciting stuff. So. And I think we had one more thing.
Yeah, Silver City News. I mean, this was one that was kind of made headlines last year, right? Right out front of the blacksmith shop, there was a pop-up pumpkin patch, a surprise pumpkin patch,
a volunteer pumpkin patch.
Now that's the formal name,
yes.
right? Is that what we were told?
We just learned that too. So something new. A volunteer pumpkin patch is when they just kind of show up. And I think the one outside Kelly's blacksmith shop was the squirrels got into the seeds of the pumpkins and spread them around. So we think that's how it started. But we've spotted a few more pop-up pumpkin patches.
Yeah, when I hear the word volunteer, of course, it makes me think of Fire in the Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Calling all volunteers. It's like the squirrels are answering the call.
They are.
Volunteering and spreading pumpkin seeds around the park. Because there's also one, I literally walk in right there where the trams and the buses all turn around there, at the entrance of Silver City. I walk by there all the time.
Me
and
too.
Someone had to point it out to me that there's a big pop-up pumpkin patch right there. There's some pumpkins growing there.
A big one. And they have a few little baby pumpkins popped up. So check that out.
And I haven't seen the other one, but I've heard there's a third one too.
And that one's at Christmas Hollow.
Okay.
So we need to go check that one out too.
Gosh, pumpkins getting all up in Christmas's business there, It's like some people are ready for Halloween. Nope, Christmas.
Yeah. I hope that the pumpkins make it too. I know that we have a lot of critters, a lot of visitors around the city.
That's true.
So I'm hoping that they can hang on and we can get some actual full-grown pumpkins.
Look, back to me being super observant, walking by that volunteer pumpkin patch at the admin. I may or may not have a pumpkin patch growing in my backyard too.
That's great.
Like there is something, we have those like big metal, it's like a cow watering tank, for cattle, but like we gardened in them and we had like 3 of them and we've gotten so busy we don't do a very good job of gardening. But this year, there's this vine and I swear it's a pumpkin. It's coming out all over that back area and I hope we grow pumpkins. The kids would get such a kick out of that.
That's awesome. I guess the squirrels made it down to your house.
I guess so. Yeah. Pop-up pumpkin patches. So people have to let us know if they're out of the city in the coming weeks or months and see any more volunteer pumpkins growing around the city. We would love to know. Those are just the ones we've noticed, 3 of them.
Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled. And if you guys have them around your house too or in your neighborhood, we'd love to hear about that too.
Yeah. Well, not only is the park organically prepping for harvest, but a lot of our teams, like our visual teams, our entertainment teams, like they're all prepping for Harvest Festival right now. As a matter of fact, we got to sit down with one of our Harvest pumpkin gurus.
Yes.
Our head of visuals here at Silver City, Kelly Utzler.
The Pumpkin Queen.
The Pumpkin Queen. And we sat down for an interview and we want you guys to check it out. See what you think. So we're here with Kelly Utzler. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
is.
Do people pronounce your name wrong? Because we talked about this
Always.
earlier. Well, you get lots of options.
Utzler, Utzler, Istler.
Okay.
Utzler.
Oostler.
Utzler.
Yeah, it's Utzler.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Kelly works in our entertainment department. Kelly, you
Yes.
are over visual.
Yes.
Like a visual manager. Is that correct?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
yeah.
Honestly, more than not, I hear people refer to you as Kelly Christmas, or sometimes your name rolls right into one of the festivals that we have going on, or the design elements that are.
Somebody used to say Pumpkin Queen.
Yes.
I don't know who that
Ooh.
was.
You are the
I know.
pumpkin queen.
You should get that on a business card, I think.
Yeah, I thought about getting a sweatshirt,
Yeah.
but then
Well, speaking of being the pumpkin queen, Kelly, while most people are, squeezing the last drops out of summer and thinking about back to school, I'm sure your mind has shifted long ago to pumpkins and harvest festival, right?
yes, yes, about middle of June.
Okay, so even before Christmas lights start going up, that was
Yes.
in Silver Dollar City News
Yeah,
last time.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Christmas lights have started going
Yeah.
up. You're already in harvest mode.
Yes, and Christmas. So we're kind of
Yeah.
It's a little bit simultaneously
Yeah.
that it happens, but there's a shift in the summer about mid-June, 1st of July, and Christmas kind of goes down here for a little bit, and pumpkins, kind of takes over, and
Okay.
then it'll shift back about mid-September back, and then it's all focus on Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, for people that don't know, Pumpkins in the City is a huge part of our Harvest Festival now. And this place is covered in pumpkins. And it's kind of taken the footprint of Pumpkins in the City as we kind of transform Silver Dollar City into Harvest Festival. It's kind of the footprint's grown over the years, right? It just started small and is doubled, quadrupled, over the years.
It's almost tripled in size. So 2019, we launched Pumpkins in the City, and it didn't feel small at the time because it was, I believe it was the largest single festival edition that we had ever undertaken. And so it was the Square, Valley Road, and then down to Red Gold Courtyard, Grand Expo, and then the new area of Pumpkin Plaza that we transformed into Pumpkin Plaza. So it was kind of what I kind of commonly think of in my mind as the top end of the park. And then it was so successful that the next year, actually with COVID, we didn't, but we had plans in 20 to double that. We held on that and then went ahead and introduced the addition to the footprint in 21, and then in 22 expanded it even farther. So we're now probably 70% coverage of the entire park.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing how it has evolved through such a short time. How do you manage to stay organized through that? That would seem like a huge process.
I'm not, and I have to say this because anybody that sees this would say they don't put organized and Kelly necessarily in the same sentence.
That's not one of your nicknames?
No.
Organized Kelly?
Christmas?
Yeah.
No,
that's
organized Kelly's probably not one of mine. But I'm organized by force, right? It's just because I have to be.
Rarely
But
are brilliant creative people. So
Right.
that's a category I
not
put you in.
So true.
Not my niche. I'm kind of all or nothing. So I'm either I've got it down to the letter or I'm a hot mess. But when we launched Pumpkins, it was a huge growing experience for me because there was just so much to manage, so many things I needed to keep my fingertips on, and so many things I needed to touch on to make sure that they were tended to, seen to. We were opening an area of the park that during the day was not going to be open, and then we were going to open it at night. And so that was a series of logistics that had to be worked out, in and of itself. So I have created lots of binders and lots of spreadsheets, and it's really, Pumpkins is now, it's kind of like Christmas where it's really a year-round process. So there's parts and pieces of Pumpkins in the City that are being worked on for the next year as we're mounting it for the current year.
I think I've heard people refer to this as your pumpkin Bible. That
Yes,
does exist.
We do.
Yeah.
We have a pumpkin
It details
Bible.
out everything. where
Yes.
every pumpkin is, all that. Yeah,
Yes,
very.
every single one of them.
Yeah, that's organized.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice, you know. Probably most of the time, if somebody were to walk into my office and look at my desk, they would say no. But I mean, I have my own organizational style, I guess, if you were going to say. But yeah, we have a pumpkin Bible because there are almost 2,000 lit and intricately carved pumpkins that are little masterpieces in and of themselves, and they all have a location, and we have to keep track of them for various reasons, and so we have a book. And that way, if something is wrong, if one comes up missing, we can, you know, sift through our book and go, okay, we're missing this one. And it helps for storage. It helps for installation. So that's just one of the books that we have. We have probably 100 pages of photo guides that go along with the installation that we hand off to the maintenance and construction folks, so that they can do their part of this goes here, there's power over here, and cords have to run this way, and so on and so forth. So
Well, because a lot of those custom carved pumpkins are custom for the area of the park, right?
Yes,
I mean, it's
yes.
not like
Yeah.
Matty and I carving a jack-o'-lantern and putting it out in a place. Like, I mean, they speak to the area of the park that they're in, the nearby
Yes.
rides, the farm,
Yes.
Wilson's farm area, those types of things. So they got to go right back. You know, they're very intentional.
Yes,
with where they go.
everything. There's nothing happenstance about where everything is located. There was months and months and hours long phone conversations over what does this group of carvings need to be, and is this right for this area, and over here we need to have 10, we should put 15 over here, and what do those need to be? And so
That could be overwhelming, I would think.
a little bit.
Yeah, just
A little
piece
bit.
by piece.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of like that old saying, you know, you don't eat the whole elephant at once, you eat it a bite at a time.
Right.
You know, you
Yeah,
have to-
so true.
Yeah, you have to just like the whole pie, or have your cake and eat it. You gotta,
Yes.
yeah.
I could see that.
Yep. And in addition to the carved pumpkins, there's a whole lot of live pumpkins, right?
Yes.
We got into kind of a fascinating conversation off camera about how many different varieties of pumpkins come into this park. So, I mean, I guess I'm curious to know, like, how many live pumpkins we typically bring in, or maybe even, you know, what's planned for this year's festival, and like, how do you know what kind of pumpkin they are? Like, how do you become an expert in that? It sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, a huge learning curve, and had to just learn varieties and how big this specific variety gets. There's a color group, but they're all natural grown vegetables. Basically, actually, a pumpkin is really a fruit. But and so
What?
True, as
Time
seeds.
out.
See,
As seeds. It's like tomatoes.
Pumpkin's a fruit.
I know
Tomatoes are a
I
fruit.
know,
Makes
yeah.
sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that was.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Again, didn't know that until. And so, you know, they all have, there's color variations within a species. They grow, some grow quicker than others, some grow better in different kind of climates. And so all of these things that kind of didn't know I had to learn until I had to learn it.
What are some of the names? Could I ask? Like, do you
Yeah,
know off the
yeah.
top of your head? Like, am
So-
I going to recognize any of these names? Like,
So there's Gerardales, and that's a blue pumpkin.
never heard.
No.
Yeah.
Blue pumpkin.
Yeah, so they kind of have that blue cast to them.
Wow.
They're kind of a
Gerardale.
bluish green. Some of them look more like a seafoam green, but they're kind of that pale bluish, grayish greenish.
Okay.
They're one of my favorites because they
beautiful.
look so nice with orange because they're on the opposite end of the color wheel. So they just make for some really beautiful displays. So there's Gerardale, there's Cinderella, and there's, let's see, Fairy Tales.
Wow.
There's Blue Hubbards. And then, of course, your
nice. Yeah, I
typical
have
standard, what everybody's familiar with, your Jack, but call them Jacks. Big Jack, small Jack, large Jack. And then there's the great big orange ones that you'll see. And they're usually anywhere from 30, they can grow up to like 70 pounds. And those are called Big Macs.
Big Macs. I love that.
There's a variety called, there's a Millionaire. And then there's one that's called Mr. Ugly. Mr. Ugly, he has bumps all over him, which
Okay.
I think they're actually very cool. To me,
They're
the
unique.
stranger they are, the more unique they look. The more
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that. Like
Yeah.
I have a tendency even when we go to like pick pumpkins to carve, or pick gourds for around the house in fall time. Like I kind of want the one that looks a little weird. Like
me
I've
too.
never
Yeah.
I've never
Oh,
seen
yeah.
before.
Yeah,
something kind of unique and odd.
Yeah, I actually, a jack-o'-lantern is probably, like if I'm going to pick some out for my front porch, I'm getting the pale orange or the white or the blue or the one that has all
Okay.
the funky colors. There's one called Long Island Cheddar. So it's
Long
kind
Island
of
cheddar.
pale, kind of a pale yellow.
And of all these varieties, about how many live pumpkins altogether do you anticipate bringing into the park, like for harvest?
There will be
Pumpkins.
roughly 15,000. It usually, actually, when we do the math, when all is said and done, it usually comes out over 15,000. It's 4 semi-truckloads stacked
goodness.
from
Wow.
to the ceiling in bins. And they will all arrive about 4 days before, 3.5, 4 days before the festival opens. And when they arrive, I'm out there with a stack of sheets that says what kind of pumpkin it is. So the trucks they're strategically packed, and I know when they arrive, like what's going to be on here, what's coming off first. And then I have my sheets of paper, and then we take that sheet of paper and staple it to the cardboard box that they're in. And then we've got a whole fleet of men that are taking them off the trucks, and they're taking them to a staging location, and they're stacking them by what they are. And it says where they go in the park.
Wow.
So
It takes an army to do that.
Yeah,
Even like
yeah.
our folks all join together. I know we job
yes,
share and say, come
absolutely.
set some pumpkins.
So they'll just
Calling
take
all
them
volunteers.
off the truck. Yeah, calling all volunteers.
Right.
They'll take them off the truck in these bins and then take them to the holding location. And then there's a separate crew that then will come in with heavy equipment, forklifts and such, when it's time to go and start setting those bins in different locations on park for the placers, the pumpkin placers. And then they can just look at that bin and go, okay, this is that kind of pumpkin, and this goes over to Rivertown, or this goes in front of Clarabelle's, or so we have all of that planned out, and it's all ready to go. And then the pumpkin placer crew, they have their own Bible, and it says bed by bed by bed. So I have the beds numbered and by location around the park. Internally
like
we
the
break the
flower
park
beds.
up into
Yeah,
segments.
broke up into segments. Okay.
And so it's like, here's this area, bed 1, 2, 3, 4, however many. And then, so we give them a book, and this is what it needs to look like. And they just go to it, and
Man.
they're amazing.
That is amazing. And how you pull it off, that rolls right into, how long does it take to set this festival up versus how long does it take to tear down?
Oh, yeah, good call.
It takes thousands of man hours to install it. It takes hundreds of man hours to take it down, but we have to take it, we have 8 hours. When the doors close, the last day of this festival, we have 8 hours to get all of the real pumpkins, all of the artificial pumpkins, and every, decorative vignette, everything off park, because at 6 a.m. the next morning, we've got a whole other crew out here starting to set Christmas trees, cut trees, and they have to get started, because then it's a race.
We roll right into
We're rolling
old
right
time
in,
Christmas.
and
Wow.
they have to be started so that we can be done and ready to open Christmas the following Saturday.
Oh my goodness. I'd like to see a time lapse of you
It
guys
would
like
be interesting.
playing Benny Hill, that
Yeah.
song, just run it all
Around
around.
the park with pumpkins.
It's like 75 or 80 people when we close on the final day of pumpkins. Everybody has a headlamp on, and everybody has on a yellow, they're bright yellow, so you can see because it's dark. And everybody has their marching orders, and it's a fleet.
Just jumps in.
Yeah.
That is magical,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, it seems like it's raining.
Perfect.
Of course it is.
We don't order that, but so yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Gosh, I feel like it takes my family that long just to decorate and undecorate our house
Yeah.
for fall, and we don't even do a good job necessarily.
Yeah,
Like,
not to nearly to the scale of Silver Dollar City. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine. Another reason to be very organized. to get it done.
And the fall, so I mean, we've talked a little bit about the live pumpkins, clearly we also have the huge pumpkin characters that make their way
Peter
around
and
the park.
Penelope.
Okay, see, yeah, I feel like I don't even know probably all the names. I know Peter and Penelope. But like we have the big pumpkin greeter that's not far from our Culinary and Craft Studios.
Gordy.
Gordy, okay, that's right. I forgot Gordy's name. But like, where does Gordy, hibernate after Harvest Festival? Like, is there a...
Don't you know that if you have a big pumpkin festival, you have a big house where your pumpkins live? Like, you have to live somewhere.
Yeah.
And so pumpkins have to live somewhere.
Gordy goes back home.
He goes back home and to a little
all his friends.
undisclosed location right over yonder. And
no idea.
Yeah.
And he lives at peace with the big spider.
He lives at peace with the big spider and the cat and the
I love the glass blower.
And the glass blower.
He is so neat. I just look at those.
Yeah, and the candy pumpkin craftsman.
Yep.
And Mr. Steampunk Pumpkin. And
Lucky has a pumpkin. We have a pumpkin Lucky.
And then our cool animal stack that sits on top of the Rivertown Smokehouse. And they all live very tightly and snugly together. That's great.
I know a lot of those characters, of course, make it, onto social media. People take pictures and selfies with them. In your personal opinion, if you had to pick one to take a selfie with, which character is it? Which is the most photogenic, you think?
My favorite, the pumpkin tree on the square.
I feel like we just made her like pick her favorite child or something.
Yeah. It's kind of tough.
All right, it's tough. The tree is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I love the pumpkin tree. And you're greeted with that as soon as you enter the park.
Yeah.
It just really sets the mood for fall. I love it.
Yeah, that's it's just so beautiful. It's colorful and it kind of just sets the mood. But of the other icons, I love the owl. Because I just love his cute little mischievous
You pulled it off perfectly, though. That's a great impression.
It is. And all the pumpkins have that, those characters on there, and they all are just so unique. And if you really take time to look at them, it's amazing how many different, animals and creatures, things that you'll find along the park. So.
And I don't know if many people notice this, but there's a series of mice carvings, little mice. There's 8. And
is this an Easter egg we're unaware of?
Kind of. And so they're just kind of tucked in to little pumpkin vignettes around the park. It does sometimes change from year to year, and they're little pumpkins, but there's no scene of mice, I don't think. But there's 8 little mice pumpkins. They're all doing different things.
I feel like now I'm going to be doing a scavenger hunt.
Yeah. So are they separated?
Yeah.
Or so you have to go around
all around
finding
park.
Oh.
Yeah, they're
my
mixed
goodness.
in. And I honestly, I know I can off the top of my head tell you where I know that one is, but I can't. I don't know exactly without looking.
That's
well,
fun.
you don't have the pumpkin Bible with you today.
I don't have my Bible with me. That's great.
Well, you kind of talked about like the giant, the characters that we have around park. I want to touch on our giant pumpkins because we have some of those that visit the park at the Fall Festival, and they are huge. So tell us about those.
So we started bringing those to the park 3 or 4 years ago, and we found a grower that belongs to this. There is a huge giant pumpkin association or society out there. Didn't know it existed.
A secret society, some might say.
It's the secret pumpkin society, and so we got in touch with them, and they put us in contact with the right people, and that resulted in us getting 8. We set the criteria. They have to be over 1,000 pounds, and so we get And the fun part about it is you don't they're growing, and so
it's not like you can order what you want. They they come to us the way they have grown.
And each one is unique. The shape is just so they just look I mean, it's hard. You look at them and you go, there's no way that can be real. But last year
I remember thinking that.
yeah, last year we had one that I think weighed almost 1,700 pounds.
Goodness gracious.
That's a lot of pumpkin pie.
And
How do you guys carry that? I mean, that's what I was like. How do you get those in there?
Yeah, how do you move them around?
So again, we have heavy equipment. They come to us on a big. They have beds. They'll have beds. That helps them travel, and because it's hard driving down the road.
Yeah, when you're a gourd. It needs to be in a gourd.
I know, it's hard. So they come with a blanket, and we actually made a strap that this grower showed us, and that's how he loads them. And so our genius gentleman over at M&C, they looked at like we can make one of those because we needed one on this end.
Yeah,
And,
to unload and not
and so
break them.
you strap them, kind of cradle them, and you lift them up with a forklift and set them into place. Yeah.
And people, I think, Garden of the Giants is how
Garden
we've
Giants.
featured them, in years past. Well, is Wilson's Farm, is
Yes.
that where the Garden of the Giants is going to be again this season?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a great place for them. We've got a real prime location because they're elevated, and so people can really get up close and personal. We always try to ask people, they get bleach baths. Every other day, at least twice a week, because that helps control the bacteria. Because bacteria is what causes them to start
Getting mushy.
getting soft.
Yeah,
and starts that, process of them.
Is that done to every pumpkin or just the giant ones?
The giant ones get a bath, a bleach bath at least twice a week. The other pumpkins, we do give them a bleach bath once they're all in place. Again, because it kills any bacteria because they've been handled, with people's hands. And we know that our guests are touching the real pumpkins, but they're a little bit easier to manipulate if we need to, if we lose one. But they do get a bleach bath. It just helps slow down that process of decomposition. And so, we try to get people very kindly to ask our guests to not put their hands on it, because it's so tempting, because you want to touch it to see if it's real.
See if it's real. Yeah, people don't believe it.
Yeah, you get lots of little fingernail
little fingernail marks. Is that real?
So, and so I know those little pumpkins are going, ouch, ouch, ouch.
I know. Poor
I know. I feel like
things.
there's a PSA too. It's like they're real. Trust us, they're real.
Yes.
Don't put your bacteria on the pumpkins.
Yeah. So they get baths twice a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
I always love to see their names too, and we might even talk about that eventually, or reveal some of the names, because they always have such
They're
fun
fun.
Very
names,
clever.
that match their personality and size and everything.
Yeah.
And is it true, Kelly Utzler, that you can't just dispose of giant pumpkins at the end of a festival?
Not when you get the pumpkins from the Pumpkin Society of Giants, no.
There's requirements, right? You have to take special care of.
Some of these folks, they want the seeds back.
What do they do with the seeds?
They protect them. They covet them. Yeah,
So you have to gather the seeds from our giants.
Yeah, I mean, there's secrets that I won't divulge. But,
That's fair.
But yes, there's criteria, and if they meet the criteria at the end of the festival, then they do request. They don't force us, but they do request that we harvest those seeds and send them back to them, because they're heirloom seeds. Oh, and so they take and they replant them.
So they're not baking those up with some Worcestershire.
No, we're not eating those ones. Yeah.
Would giant pumpkins really be the yummiest of pumpkins anyway?
I don't know.
Probably not.
No, probably.
Of all the varieties, do you know the yummiest pumpkin? Which is the one that everyone prefers as a pie?
A pie pumpkin, and actually that Gerardale that I was talking to you about, the blue ones, if you cut into one of those, they have the most beautiful orange flesh or meat.
Yeah.
And they are supposed to make the most delicious pumpkin pie.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
After all these years of coddling pumpkins and lovingly positioning them around park, can you still eat them?
Yeah.
You like pumpkin pie?
Oh my gosh, I love pumpkin pie. And I don't like pumpkin chai latte or pumpkin
spice lattes. No.
Coffee. coffee or pumpkin spice creamer. No.
I'm surprised I haven't seen those, by the way. Those come out so early.
Oh yeah, I'm already
Pumpkin
burning
spice
fall
hits.
candles. I have like a
No,
pumpkin.
Really?
yeah, I do love me a fall candle, but as far as consumption, I mean, I love pumpkin pie, I love pumpkin desserts, but not pumpkin coffee or pumpkin candy or pumpkin.
They have everything pumpkin now, don't they?
Yeah,
Pumpkin everything.
So yeah, but pumpkin pie all day long.
Gosh, Kelly, you are a absolute well of information. It's crazy all that goes into setting up Pumpkins in the City and Harvest Festival here at Silver City. Like, 15,000 pumpkins coming our way before you know it.
Last year,
Not to stress you out.
Yeah.
Before you know it.
Yeah, just in just a few weeks. We timed it last year. It took 9 hours to get them all set.
Wow.
That's quick.
Yeah.
Well, you are brilliant, and we are so
my
grateful
goodness.
for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do, and thanks for sitting down with us here
This is
at the
fun.
Culinary and Craft Studios,
This
and
is fun.
kind of giving Silver City fans an inside look at what we have to come for Harvest Festival. This has been awesome.
Yeah, we have a good time.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Okay, what an awesome person that Kelly is,
Yes.
and what a fun interview to learn about Harvest. I mean, there's a lot going on.
I know so many things that I did not know. I had no idea. And one of the things that really blew my mind was the taking it down in 9 hours.
They have got to really hoof it,
So
you know?
that's one work day. I mean, that is amazing.
And I know we talked a lot about pumpkins, but crafters take over the square and the park during Harvest. So it's like they got to remove all those booths, everything.
Yeah, it's amazing what they do in such a short time. So really a huge shout out to that entire team.
Yeah.
And one more thing that she mentioned, she was talking about the best pumpkin to make pumpkin pie.
Ah, yeah. Did that make you want some pumpkin pie?
It did.
maybe?
I love pumpkin pie. It's one of my favorite pies. I have to admit, I use the Libby's can.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm
yeah.
not.
You're not looking through the varieties of pumpkins that are out there and choosing one.
Yes, I'd like to hear. Has anybody made a pumpkin pie from a pumpkin? I mean, that's some
actually
homestead
scraped
stuff.
it out and use it. You're right. That is some homestead
Yeah.
stuff.
So let's hear about that. And speaking of some feedback from our listeners out there, we're gonna go right into Matty's mailbag.
Hey, absolutely. I know we've gotten quite a bit of feedback and some emails. So who you got for us in Maddie's mailbag today?
So let's see. First up, we heard from Justin, and he was talking about where he found our Fire in the Hole ice cream.
Oh, that was one of our headlines. Yeah, last time. Okay.
All the way in Oklahoma City.
Okay, very cool. Let's go.
And he said it's my wife's favorite now. So I have to agree with you, Justin. It's one of my favorite ice creams, too.
I think I told you recently that Emmett, my youngest son, he has dubbed Fire in the Hole his favorite ice cream as well. And he used to love, what's the blue one with like cookie dough and cookie pieces and stuff? It was called like Monster Mash or I don't know. It doesn't
but
matter.
that sounds really good.
It's good too, but it kind of leaves your mouth blue,
Okay, like
So
the
it's-
birthday cake kind of. That's what I think of.
kind of. Anyway, Fire in the Hole, his new favorite. He dubbed that the other day.
Got to
so
try it. And
don't
again,
blame him.
keep looking out for that ice cream.
Yeah,
we
let
want to
us
see where
know.
it's at. All right.
That's great. What else?
Let's see. We also heard from Larry, and he was wondering what's the name of the song that we use on the podcast.
Well, if I knew, I would tell him.
Right. So this is a specially made song for our podcast from John Presley.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So-
Custom made.
Yeah. So maybe we can release that. I don't know, ringtones or maybe a little song for you to.
It's a choice, right? What ringtone you use?
It is.
Do you change yours seasonally?
No, I sure don't. And
you don't?
my phone's mostly on silent or vibrate. So
Okay,
I have
that's
to
fair.
admit, I don't know if I really hear my ringtone a lot, but back in the day, that was pretty neat to have all the different ringtones. So
I think Larry's onto something. I would love to have our podcast intro song as a ringtone.
Me
We may need
too.
to look into that.
Me too. Well, yeah, guys, thanks for reaching out, and please continue to do so. We'd love to hear from you, hear your feedback, questions that you have.
Yeah, Maddie's mailbag. We'll wrap up hopefully the next podcast and the one after that with some listener feedback just like that. So, hit us up, ozarkly at silverdollarcity.com if you want to email us. We also check socials. There's some of our videos in the ozarkly.com link to the podcast is usually out there on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, all those things. So you can comment there and we'll try to grab those too.
Yep, all the things, yeah.
Man, I maybe getting more ready for fall now after that interview.
Me too,
And this
Cole.
episode. Yeah, I
Pumpkin
think I'm
spice, pumpkin pie. I'm ready. Bring on the fall.
there. Me too. Me too. Matty, this has been fun. It always is. It was so nice to be back in the Culinary and Craft Studios. And I think, we've probably taken up enough of people's time.
Yes, I think so too, Cole. This was fun.
It was. Well, visit us at ozarkly.com. Let us know, any feedback you have about the show at ozarkly at silverdosecity.com. It's been awesome to be here. And everyone, you have a fantastic past ahead of you here at Silver Dollar City.